Hi guys, for today's video I thought I'd talk about what is all over the internet and especially here on YouTube at the moment, which is the restricted mode, and why all content creators, not just those of the LGBTQ community, should be worried about it. Most of my content, with the exception of maybe one or two videos, is pretty much PG. I've only ever had two videos demonetized, but one was remonetized. The other one I don't think will be, but that's a topic for another video. And I think the two do go hand in hand. I think this whole restricted mode is in response to the fact that a lot of YouTubers have kicked off about why we're not deemed as advertiser friendly, why our videos aren't deemed as advertiser friendly, particularly when you look at people like Philip DeFranco and Just Kidding News Guys. They are news channels when all is said and done, but because they do address news and politics, particularly Philip DeFranco, it can potentially cause issues with companies, especially companies that have connections with people in politics. And if you don't believe that people in big companies have connections in politics, whether you be in the UK, the US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Europe, wherever, you know, they do. So I think it's because a lot of it is because of money, and a lot of it is because they want to, instead of saying, oh, your content isn't advertiser friendly, so demonetizing everything, they then put you in a bracket as for what type of marketing your channel would be targeted for. So say for example something like Philip DeFranco, because his audience I think are probably say in the 20s, you'd probably get alcohol, cars, that type of things, you know, like clubbing, music, Spotify apps, things like that, that have a lot to do with the audience which Philip DeFranco has. When you've got family vloggers, you'll have a lot of like nappy related and baby related ads, whether it's YouTube Kids or whether it's nappies, baby wipes, pacifiers, whatever, you know, all the Johnson & Johnson and things like that adverts. So a part of it I think is to do with that, and again a part of it is because when they went through the whole thing of demonetizing, a lot of people turned around and spoke up about it, and it was like, right, okay, well, if we demonetize everyone, we'll lose a lot of the people that bring money in, that bring views in, that bring eyeballs to the website essentially. So if we demonetize those videos, those creators will go elsewhere and we'll lose that income. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to rejig it. But the only issue is, when you look at certain people, I'll just use these guys as an example again. The Just Kidding News Guys, because they have multiple channels, and for all intents and purposes, they are a multifaceted group. They'll have one video that can be classed as news, one video that can be classed as lifestyle, because not every news item they cover is a classic news item. Some of it is a feel good article that they found, or something that's happened on Twitter, or something that's happened on Instagram, or things along those lines. So that's the only problem with putting people in little niche groups, because it's problematic. Another example, for some strange reason, I was going through the channel, the video types on my videos for both this and my other channel, and on my other channel they were defaulted to games, which I can partially understand because 2 of the videos on that channel are from Twitch, but one quick look at my channel will show you that it isn't a gaming channel, so I had to go in and change them all to education and how to install. And then on this channel I had to change a few, because although a lot of them are classed as vlogs and people, there are a few that are entertainment, like the challenges I do with the other half, and things along those lines. And it's annoying to me that YouTube, as a company that up until recently has always said that it's had its creators' backs, is now doing things without communicating with its content creators. On restricted modes, there's a lot of channels that can't even be seen, and I'm not just talking. Yeah, it's shitty and it's bad that the LGBT are being censored in such a bad way with regards to this, but they aren't the only ones that are having the issue. It's only because they've kicked off that everybody's like, ah. Up until that group kicked off, nobody else thought to check. And I was watching the Jenna and Julian podcast, which I'll link up above, on this exact same topic. And there are a few theories, one of which is due to the advertisers and due to the almighty dollar, which, as far as I'm concerned, Jenna is 100% correct. I think she picked it up from somewhere else, but she's 100% correct. And whoever its source is 100% correct. I've worked with multiple companies, small and medium. Have I ever worked for a big company? No. I've only worked for small and medium-sized companies. And at the end of the day, the be-all and end-all in that company is money. You know, yeah, some companies are better to work for than others. Some companies have better relationships with other people than others. But a lot of the time, it's the money that does the talking, and the talking that money does dictates on how that company governs not only its staff but everybody that works alongside or works with that company's customers. It affects a wider range of things. Everybody should be worried, because if we are being separated into groups, into genres, then I think that that's bad. Yes, as a writer I'm used to it, but with a writer I know my genre. I chose my genre. It's my genre's like it's like paranormal thrillers / horrors, namely because I scare the crap out of people, which is quite fun. But in this respect, because we don't know what negates as being a horror channel from a news channel to a paranormal theme channel, and a lot of the groups, they don't have specific groups for people like Rainbow. She's mainly horror. So why isn't there a horror? If they're gonna break us down into sections, then at least be realistic. But again, you've got people like Rob Dyke, he has 2 different genres in his videos. on his main channel, which is comedy and horror. So what are they going to do with Rob? And he's a very popular YouTuber. And I can understand them wanting to govern what's on their website to a point. However, they have to be very, very careful because they are starting on a very, very slippery slope to a very dangerous path. And I mean dangerous. It's problematic in that if this is all done because of YouTube TV, then communicate with those that upload videos. If you have a channel and you don't upload videos, then this won't affect you because you don't upload videos. However, if you upload videos, YouTube should be talking to you, but they're not doing, and that is the problem. And everybody, not just the LGBT, not just the news and drama groups, everybody should be worried in almost every sense of the word, because we are having our own freedom of expression being policed by a company. Granted, it's their website, but they've always said that providing you don't do X, Y, and Z, then you're fine. However, those that are doing X, Y, and Z are still allowed to have channels, and then you have other people that have other people's channels taken down just for the sheer hell of it. It's like I've had, I think in total I've had two of my book trailer videos have what they call a copyright thing on it, where I could appeal it, but it's to me it's not worth bothering, because the music is technically owned by somebody else, which is fine because when I uploaded those videos I didn't know about the audio library. However, I now do that. I now know, so I now use that library instead of the library I used on the website I used to create the videos for the book trailers. But with that being said, when it comes to my normal video, I've had, like I say, one video was demonetized and then remonetized, which was the Jonestown Massacre, calling out Jesse Smiles, and the second one was the one that's just been demonetized, which was the strange thing Brits say, because there's a word we say over here that in America means something completely different, and I didn't know that until not long ago. So somebody's watched that video, seen what I've said, and then reported it. So that's been demonetized, but that's fine. I've just hidden it until I can edit that bit out of it. And I think my John Cooking one was, but there was nothing in that was breaking the YouTube terms of services, so there was nothing happened about that one. At the end of the day, everybody can believe what they want to believe and take this whole situation as seriously or as lightly as they want. But if I was you, I really, really, really would keep an eye. And you're a creator. Keep an eye on your videos, because a lot of people aren't getting told when they're being demonetized. And if you can, try and see if you have a second account, or if you've got a friend who's got an account, get your friend who's got an account to go onto restricted mode and see if they can find your channel. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that when the husband gets home later on today, and see if any of my videos are restricted. Like I say, I've got a funny feeling one or two are, but everybody's concerned, and we have a right to be. mainstream media don't like us at it as it is. And I think it's beyond a joke that YouTube are letting finances talk over loyalty, and why in the first place they were letting ads run on Taliban and Al Qaeda channels when those groups shouldn't have channels, because they are hate-filled groups and they are pushing a narrative that shouldn't be pushed. So to me, that's wrong, and YouTube has to look at the company as a whole, instead of just thinking, oh, we're losing money from this advertiser, from that advertiser, from this company, from that company, from this country, from that country. But you also need to remember that you have to yes, you do have to be careful what videos are monetized. However, I don't think that alcohol companies are going to be bothered about people swearing. Mind you, then again, some of these companies are American. It really does confuse me that you can't swear on certain channels in America. Or in this country, if it's after 9 o'clock, you can swear. So yeah, to me, I'd be worried. I am worried a little. Not overly worried, because like I say, I'm only a small channel. I don't make any money. And a lot of my monies are still monetized, but be careful, guys. Be careful.